Shannon, it is a soap opera. What is going on here?
Well, it's a bad look. KD, this was a two-part question. There's also an unnamed source that said KD said either Sean Marks and Steve Nash go or I go. Now, he could have answered that also because he quickly said the unnamed source. I'm not retiring, but I think it was a two-part question.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I wonder why
he didn't address that.
Exactly. So I wonder what the unnamed source. So the unnamed source was wrong in this situation, but right in another.
Okay.
Skip, I don't believe that Kevin Durant's going to retire. I believe he's trying to make it as uncomfortable as he possibly can on the Brooklyn Nets so they can get them the hell up out of town. He's made it abundantly clear. I think Joe Tsai has checked him. These guys ain't going anywhere. The problem was that we gave you and Kyrie too much control to begin with. You wanted Steve Nash, we got him. You wanted Patty Mills, we got him. You wanted a Blake Griffin, you wanted a James Harden trade, you wanted LaMarcus Aldridge. We got. And what have we got to show for it? One series win. Deliver us a championship. That's what we want. You said you want all this credit. He talks about he want credit for what transpired in Golden State. Okay. You get credit for what's going on in Brooklyn too now. See, you just can't have the good a lot of times after having been one. We want credit for the good. But when the bad come along, that ain't me. I ain't got nothing to do. I just want to hoop. Just let me hoop.
Yep.
You don't make these kinds of demands without having a level of control within that organization. Skip, somebody that works in security ain't finna go up to Shanks and say, I want this, this, and this, or else I'm leaving. You've got to have some level of control. You've got to have some level of voice to make you like, damn, you tell the owner, and I can imagine going in there kicking my feet up on the man's desk and say this, and this is what it needs to be. This makes KD look bad because for the longest time, he's been able to remain unscathed by the criticism that LeBron has gotten. Because all he wanted to do was hoop. And anytime something happened, well, KD just hooping. KD's not like LeBron. He's not the de facto GM. But see, anytime that you want to build something, you see what happened when Golden State, it was already established. That was already built. Bob Myers, Joe Lacob. Lacob gave Bob Myers to Steve Kerr. They had a culture there. Started by Mark Jackson, fostered and grew fruit under Steve Kerr. Kevin Durant says, I want to go. You know what? I want to build something. Well, in order for him to build something, what do you have to do, Skip? You got to get dirty. Okay, let me get to work. Well, this is what I need. Let me get my coach in here. Kind of like LeBron when he went back to Cleveland. What did he do, Skip? I need a K-Love. Okay, I'll take JR. I need this. I need that. He built that. Give me Channing Frye. Give me Richard Jefferson. Okay, he gets the credit. Things didn't go well. He got the blame. Kevin Durant wanted to build something, but when it didn't come to fruition, it's Steve Kerr's, it's Nash's fault. It's Sean Marks' fault. You see what he tried to do?
I do.
He built it, and when it crumbled, ain't on me, bro. I just hoop. Nah, bro, we can't let you go with that one. We know you had a large say in Steve Nash coming. We know you had a say in James Harden and all those other pieces that came along. This is a bad look for him, Skip, and it's looking worse.
Okay, I'm going to start with this, and I get everything you just said. Fair, smart criticism of my guy, Kevin Durant, who I still believe is the best player on the planet. But he's not acting like it off the floor. Okay, biggest picture, step back perspective. I've said this many times. This is the thinnest skinned superstar I have ever closely observed. And yet, he can be so self-destructively defensive on social media because he hits sin fast. He's like, fire back, fire back. Well, this is a fire back that hurts him strategically because he should let it sit out there that maybe he'll retire.
Maybe I will retire.
For his own, whatever leverage he has, at least he could hold on to a shred of leverage of, what if I just don't even come back?
Right.
What if I quit, right? You gonna trade me now if I'm gonna quit? And instead, he says, I know most people will believe unnamed sources over me, but if it's anyone out there that'll listen, I don't plan on retiring anytime soon. Kevin Durant, right before your very eyes, just handed over whatever leverage he had. He did. He just blew it up right before your very eyes. And then he says, SH is getting comical. Well, it's getting comical for the wrong reasons when I watch your strategic maneuvers here because they're wrong-headed. And it's getting sadder by the day because your bluff got called.
Yes.
That's what happened. your owner, your GM, your coach, they just called your bluff. And you had to resort in desperation to them or me. Like, either they go or I go.
Right.
Well, and do you think they're really afraid that you're going to go where? You're going nowhere.
Right.
You have 4 years left on your deal. The deal hasn't even started. It doesn't start until opening night. So you haven't even started a deal that you agreed to for 4 more years and almost $200 million.
Right.
So it's not a matter of the money. It's the duration of the deal. Well, the league is finally putting its foot down saying, no, you can't Bigfoot your way out of one situation just
another.
because you've fallen apart with the guy who used to be your bestie, Kyrie. I think they've fallen completely apart, and this wouldn't be happening.
Yeah, but Skip, you know, you look at over the last week or so, he's been all over the place with James Harden attending Travis Scott's concerts, considering how their relationship. Now, when the All-Star game was being selected, Kevin Durant wouldn't even take James Harden.
Well, and what about him and Draymond?
Yeah.
Draymond reportedly called him the B word on the bench at Clippers.
Right.
And the next thing I know, they're hugging each other at the Olympics.
So, look, I agree with you. The leverage is, I don't know who this unnamed source is, but that is a possibility. I just might.
I mean, that's the only leverage you got left, and you just gave it right back to Joe Tsai.
But guess what? Joe Tsai said, well, when you decide to come back, I'm still going to have your rights. Because it's like anything, Skip. You can retire, but guess what? When you come back, I still got it right because you hadn't even started to fulfill your obligation on the contract. I gave you 4 years at 194. I'm going to need something on my return, KD. You giving me nothing.
Okay, and Mark Stein also reports from an unnamed executive that there's a growing expectation in league circles that Kevin will continue trying to cause as much ruckus behind the scenes. Well, I got to tell you, I've, again, closely observed him. I don't know him like up close and personal, but I know a lot of people who know him very well. That's not his makeup, is to cause a ruckus. As you keep pointing out, he just wants to hoop, man. He doesn't want any leadership responsibility. He doesn't want anything hanging over his head. He doesn't want any responsibility of, I put this team together. He just wants to go play basketball.
Well, Skip, he wanted that. But what he found out is harder to do than he previously thought. Now, I mean, you got a great general manager. You go back and look at what Red Auerbach did for the Celtics, and you look at what Jerry West was doing for the Lakers, where you can look at what Bob Myers is doing for Golden State, now and R.C. Buford. Now, Skip, if you get that kind of competent general managers, okay, they can put together a team. They know exactly, okay, this guy really worked well for us. And, okay, we need to get off this guy a year. He probably got a year, but we can get 4 or 5 years out of this guy. So they put things together. But a lot of times these players say, oh, I could be a general manager. I play the game. What do you know? He ain't played no game. And then come to find out, they try to get with their homeboys, or this guy, he scored 30 points over there. Let me bring him and team up with me with my 30 points. Oh, we got a dynamic duo. What happens?
See Michael Jordan in Chicago, see him in Charlotte. Go ahead.
And so, the Wizards, you know, he wanted all his guys with the Washington. No, it doesn't work like that.
Okay.
And so Kevin Durant is finding out it's a lot harder to put a team together and to go out there and compete and win a championship than he previously thought. And now once he put this team together and it's not going as well as he thought, well, I need Sean Marks to go. I need Steve Nash. That's why we ain't done it, because Steve Nash, I said it before, Skip. I said, this is a pressure cooker situation for a first-year head coach. With the expectations, you going with a first-year head coach?
Yep.
I'm like, okay. KD signed off on him. And you blew the team up to get James Harden with Dinwiddie, your depth with Dinwiddie, LeVert, Jared Allen.
You did?
That's on you, KD. Bro, own that. Own that. Don't run away from it. Ain't no unnamed source. Ain't no social media. You did that. They're not blowing up that team without your blessing.
Okay, bottom line, this is where you and I part ways. I believe with all my heart and soul, Kevin Durant will be a Brooklyn Net for the duration of this coming basketball season, whether he likes it or not. And I believe he will come to like it, and he's going to have to figure out a way to rebuild some kind of bridge to Kyrie, whether he likes it or not. And I think he's fully capable because he's childlike in his friendships where I hate you, I love you, I hate you, I love you. You see it happen.
Yes.
And so it will not surprise me. In fact, I would predict that he and Kyrie will be thick as thieves again at some point.
Skip, they ain't got no Christmas Day game. I think the NBA think they're gonna be gone because they ain't
Maybe.
they would at least they would have given at least given Brooklyn with those two stars
Yep.
no game on Christmas Day.
Well, maybe they just had to hedge a bet and
Yeah.
worry they might not be there.
True.
But that's a fair, also good point.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.